The views, information, and opinions expressed during the following program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent the views of Access Communications, its representatives, or its employees.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting of December the 8th, 2025. We'll bring it to order. No presentations tonight. Can we have a motion to accept the minutes of the regular council meeting of November 24th? Councillor Johnson, Councillor Elliott, questions, comments? All in favor? Carried. Original communications, delegations, petitions. Up first, we have a SUMA resolution recommendation. Resolution is increased funding for local housing authorities. I'll just skip to the end. That Saskatchewan Urban Municipality SUMA lobby the government of Saskatchewan to increase funding to local housing authorities to ensure sustainability, maintenance, and expansion of affordable housing in all Saskatchewan communities. Councillor Vroba.
Thank you, Worship. Yes, I 100% support this. I'll make the motion to proceed with this because right now I believe the number we've received is over 600 housing units that are not filled right now, and whether that's because they're not maintained or they don't meet the criteria, whatever it is, they all need to be looked at. I know at last count that we had heard in Estevan was 59 units, and that's too many for a city of our size with people who are struggling and need the housing. So I'd like to see them all filled, and hopefully this will help us get there with SUMA advocating for us.
Excellent. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Welezer. Any other questions, comments out there? Councillor Welezer.
Thank you, Your Worship. Other years, each resolution that came forward was presented on the floor to the delegates. This year it is going to be different. So after Estevan City Council passes this resolution, it goes to the city's caucus, and the city's caucus debates if all 13 cities in Saskatchewan are seeing similar problems and want to direct advocacy efforts. And then it will go on as a very small collection of resolutions to give better opportunities for interviews and screen time and time with MLAs at the convention this year.
That sounds real good to shorten up that process at the convention. So any other questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? We're coming for you, SUMA. Up next, Estevan Community Wellness Committee, Courage and Community Dinner Sponsorship. Does anybody in the gallery want to talk about this one? Councillor Vroba?
Thank you, Worship. I can talk about it because I represent the city on this committee. I'm the chairperson, and Heidi Husselink is my co-chair. And so this is our second annual Courage and Community Dinner. This year, we are having our guest speaker, and he is a survivor of the Humboldt Broncos crash. And we will be, he also was the winner of the, what is it called? Amazing Race Canada. Yeah. So we are almost sold out though. We have 50% of our tickets are sold. And so if anyone needs tickets, we would love to have them. And we're also asking if the city of Estevan would like to purchase a table. I'm not sure, because I know some councillors already have tickets to the event. So if you can't fill the table, what we're asking is that you donate the tickets back to the Courage and Community Dinner, and then we will
Find some recipients.
find somebody, because there's a lot of people who cannot attend the dinner. They really want to, and so, yeah.
Okay, excellent. So we have a list of sponsorships there that probably do include a table, some of them, or no?
Yes, the sponsorships do. Sorry, there's
Okay, excellent. Do we have a motion from council to sponsor the event? Oh, Councillor Mouse.
There. Does it work? Do you hear me? Yeah. Yep. I'd like to make a motion that we, since they did not get a third-party grant, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'd like to make the motion that we do the sponsorship for, what is it, $3,500 and buy a table.
Okay, excellent. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Johnson. Okay, any other questions, comments? Councillor Veroba?
I just realized Tyler Smith is our guest speaker, and his focus will be on mental health. So I appreciate, our committee will appreciate the motion that you made, Councillor Mouse, because the other thing about this event is it's our only event. So when you mentioned we didn't get a third-party grant, the reason we didn't ask for a third-party grant is because we are focused on getting the word out there, what Estevan already has, what services are out there for mental health, for addiction, for all sorts of things that are in the community. We're also focused on community events. Right now, like our community games night is the third Tuesday of every month. And that event has seen in the last roughly 15 months that we've been doing it, more and more people getting out there. We've had people that have come that are new to the community. We have people who are lived in the community forever, but they've been struggling with mental health issues and isolation. So it's a way to get people out. It's a way to get people meeting new people and just feeling just to being a part of the community, because we've also had spin-offs, like Creighton Lodge now does their own twice a month. So not only are you welcome to go to the community one on every third Tuesday, but Creighton Lodges is the second and the fourth Thursday of every month. And we have a calendar, so you could also check that out. And this month we also have, I'm going to get the date wrong, but I'm going to try for it. I believe it's on December 16th is the Twinkle Tour. And so December 16th, if you want to pre-register, you can do that through Envisions. And what it is we're going to partner with Smile Services. So that's kind of what we do too, is we're going to have it so that people who can't afford, or maybe they don't have a vehicle, or for whatever reason they just can't do it, they can come to Envisions Counseling and register for this event, and then get on the Smile van and take your family and do a tour. So the Twinkle Tour is down at Woodlawn. And I think they're also going to do a little bit through the city. We only have one Smile van right now, but it's free to whoever registers. And then if lots of people register, I think they'll do a second van. So, and again, it's just our first year doing this. And if we continue to have free events, we're hoping that we just continue to build a stronger community.
Excellent, thank you for that. Any other questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried.
Voted.
Written reports of committees, Sewers Valley Museum, minutes of November 2025. We have a motion to accept these. Councillor Dubowski, Councillor Elliott, questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Estevan Public Library minutes, October 2025. Do we have a motion to accept these? Councillor Leeser, Councillor Elliott, any questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Estevan Arts Council, November 2025 minutes. Do we have a motion to accept this report? Councillor Dubowski, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Any questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Executive reports. City Manager, Pebbles to Rocks Daycare Loan Guarantee. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Worship. So the Pebbles Rock Daycare has come up to City Council in the past. We have provided some land to make sure that this comes to Estevan. We understand there's waiting lists of 500 to 700 people, and this is a primary need for citizens of Estevan. So in order for them to continue operating and finish the project, they are requesting a guarantee on their loan. So they'd be able to pay within their financial projections all the loan requirements, but just as a non-for-profit, having the backing of the city to ensure the guarantee for the loan would be beneficial. We have done this in the past. I know TSN Woodlawn Golf Course about 15 years ago on the mortgage, as it being a non-for-profit, also got a similar guarantee. What it does, it's just a requirement as a note disclosure on our financial statements to indicate that we are guaranteeing that loan. So just need a motion from council if they're wanting to support a guarantee to get this project to continue.
Do we have a motion out there to support? Councillor Veroba, seconded by Councillor Elliott. Questions, comments? Councillor Veroba?
Thank you, Worship. I just wanted to make sure, though, that when we make the motion, that we also make the motion to say that we will back the loan, but also have a representative of City Council on the committee. Okay. So we want to make sure that because we have an interest in that loan, that we know what the daily findings are. And I think I would like to see that person be somebody, not only it could also be a councillor, but I'd like to for sure see somebody with a financial background, like either Jeff or Trudy.
Okay, you got that, City Clerk? Okay, do we have a seconder, Councillor Leeser? Questions, comments? Yeah.
Thank you, Your Worship. The question that came up most often when I was visiting about this with the community is just the risk that it puts the city in if they were unable to pay this loan. Would additional city dollars then be obligated to fund it? is there a risk of the city operating the daycare, those type of concerns.
Thank you, Councillor. Well, these are through your worship. Yeah, so that's always the risk when you guarantee the loan. So obviously, you're taking some onus as to ensuring this moves forward. I did see last week that the Saskatchewan government didn't sign on to the $10 a day daycare and had some additional parameters. And I understand that they're well over the 90 kids of interest at the daycare. So I'd like to minimize that risk as much as possible, but there is always a risk that at some point the city would have to step in and either, assist in operations or financially contribute to this in excess of the guarantee. And I guess that's just something council will have to consider tonight. In the initial agreement, once the operation began, that's when title would transfer. Obviously, if we guarantee it, we will retain ownership of the land during this period, so that wouldn't be transferred over for an asset for Pebbles to Rock at that point.
Okay. Any other questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you for that. Building permit report, November 2025. Do we have a motion to accept this? Councillor Dubowski, seconded by Councillor Veroba. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Land Development Manager Daycare Business Fees. Step up to the mic and, two visitors tonight. Excellent. Well, the floor is yours. Fill us in on what's happening here.
Right. Good evening. I'm not land development. I'm community development. This is just some information in your package to take into account while considering bylaw 2025-2103, which is going to be later this evening. So about 6 months ago, a local not-for-profit approached myself and my office and the community wellness group with a day home list that was significantly larger than the number of day homes that are currently licensed within the city. And we are not talking about like 4 or 5, we were talking about dozens. So it raised some serious concerns. One of those concerns was some major safety risks. Just in a major emergency, first responders might be unaware that unregistered day homes or daycares are located within those affected areas. So it really puts a pretty big risk on, the children in our community, and would create some problems, or it does create some problems for emergency services. And it also raised some administrative gaps, red flags. So a large number of unregistered day homes does suggest that there are some barriers in our current licensing system. So after speaking with some current and former day home operators, 3 key barriers were identified. One of them was confusion around the licensing process and the wording requirements to actually license your day home. A lack of perceived benefits to registering for a business license within the city of Estevan. What would be the point of paying that fee? What do you get from it? Why do you do it? And the cost. The current $650 fee is simply just too high for some day home operators, many of whom are parents just simply supplementing their household income because they couldn't get their child into a registered daycare, so they decided, take on extra children while they're at home with their children. I think it's really important to note that day homes and daycares are businesses, and childcare is a major economic driver for Estevan. If you don't have an adequate amount of, childcare spaces and daycare spaces in your community, and, a business is considering moving to Estevan versus, moving to a different city, if they have their childcare situation figured out, I think the answer would be pretty easy of which one they're going to want to move to. It's really, childcare is just something that's really important in our community. So instead of an enforcement first approach and going after all these people who have, childcare based out of their homes, I really want to look at a support first approach in the community. So I would like to utilize Land Development Services' proposed ability to recommend partial fee waivers for priority business classes, which again will be in the bylaw later tonight. And that's day home is going to be one of the top priorities as we go into 2026. So some proposed actions for those day homes would be to lower the licensing fee to reduce the barriers for registration, which would be included in bylaw 2025-2103. Simplifying the process and creating some brochures in the new year that just clearly outline how to obtain a day home business license and what you get from it. And with that, we would work with the family centers to make sure that the family center is celebrating those day homes that are registered with the city, and just putting out some resources so that they are feeling just really well supported in the community. Offering business-related workshops or sessions with day homes specifically invited. Again, a day home and a daycare is a business, and in 2026, economic development is already looking at, offering some courses about starting a business and maintaining your business. So we can really put a focus on some of our daycare and day home operators for that. And just celebrate and promote our day homes through economic development, social media, and our business spotlights and anniversary celebrations. So instead of going after all these people and saying, hey, you need to get a license and here's the costs, and even though it might not be feasible for you, you have to and we're going to enforce it, I really, really want to take the support approach and just really promote and advertise how much great childcare we have in this community. And in doing so, I'm hoping this will help our day home operators feel supported and a little bit more valued in the community, because they are running an important service in our community. It'll hopefully increase childcare capacity, which again supports workforce participation. It'll provide the city with proper and accurate list of day homes for emergency response and planning. And it also allows us as a city to be able to advocate to the government and to be able to apply for grants when we actually have a real number of, what our childcare wait lists are in the community, how many day homes and daycares we actually have. And I think it'll just be a really good opportunity for us to be able to, take the tools and the information that we have and use it to get more funding and find other ways for, the government to help support Estevan as well. And just a note, the Hillcrest daycare and the Estevan daycare combined 6 months ago had a total of 928 children on their waiting list. So, when we're talking about childcare wait lists, this isn't, 100, it's almost 1,000 at this point. So if we can find a way to help support some of the people who are providing childcare out of their homes and make it a little bit easier for them and, promote if they have even spots open, I think it would be really great if we could do that.
Excellent. Councilor Verba.
Thank you, Worship. And thank you, Rebecca, for doing all the work that you did, because, this just came as an idea, and you've really taken it. It came to the Community Wellness Committee, like you said, as an idea, then you've taken it and really looked into it and done a lot of research, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Do you know if the provincial government, when they did the $10 daycare agreement, did they also expand it to make it easier for home daycare providers to access, to be able to take the training, I believe, that then they can become a $10 a day subsidized daycare as well?
So there's two separate classes, right? So the registered daycares through the province can also be ran out of your home, but they actually have to go through all the legislation through the province. And then there's the day homes where, you and I can decide that, we'd like to watch, children and, take care of children for the day. But one of them would be just licensed through the city, and that is, Richard, I think it's 10 kids, 7 children. You can only have 7 children in your home versus, the daycare where you can have larger capacity. The government, I believe, was looking into the funding for Southeast College again, because the Southeast College was like a pilot program in 2024 and 2025, and so they got free, for domestic students, free tuition to support that. So I think it's being looked into for 2026. We're just kind of in the works of researching that. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, yes, because that's another economic spinoff, really, because if the college can bring that training here, they've done that in the past with being a certified care aide, and now if they can do that also with the children, for people who want to be able to work with children, then that would be awesome. So, no, thank you for that.
Excellent. Any other questions, Councilor Dubowski?
Thank you, Worship. In regards to one of the ideas being a graduated fee, a question that I had regarding that, maybe you know this, or maybe city manager, if you know this, do we know if there are any loopholes within how the business license runs that allows somebody to, say, open a day home for a year under the decreased license amount, and then say close down within that year, open up either elsewhere or under a different name or something, and then basically just game the system to continue getting that first year decreased price, or not?
I can speak to that, Your Worship.
Yep.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Dubowski. Business licenses and development permits and the licenses from the province when they kick in, and also the inspections from the fire department, are location specific. So if you're in one home and you're running for a year or so, and then you move to another home, you're starting off from scratch, right from the beginning again. When it's a home-based business that has clientele coming to the home. So that would prevent that potentially. As to the fees, just so that council's aware, the business license fee is kind of high. I think everyone would agree. What needs to be understood about it, though, that is a large portion of that business license fee is in lieu of having the home subject to a split assessment, commercial and residential. It's much easier for both the homeowner and the city to manage because we don't have to deal with SAMA on it. And there can sometimes be a year or more lag time if the day home shuts down where they'd still be assessed as commercial. So that's one issue there. For the graduated fees, and this was something when Rebecca and I were discussing this, day home's the issue right now. And it could be for years in future, but there's nothing to say that a few years from now, it could be plumbers, it could be carpenters, who knows, right? What the future holds. And that's why when you get to that item later on in the agenda, it's worded there for that. The one instance that is the council can be aware of, the previous council had to deal with different home-based land use, and it was to have a level playing field between brick and mortar operations versus ones out of the home. And the approach that we've taken with the business license, having that SAMA fee incorporated, really quieted things down. And for the people that were on council during that time, you know what I'm talking about there. That said, when a day home is starting up, and that's where we were getting into this at the beginning, the fee right at the beginning can be kind of daunting. And that's the feedback that I received from the day homes that I was able to get through and get approved, because as soon as I become aware of something like this, because there's children involved and what have you, I'm obligated to try and deal with it. I try to do it in a friendly manner at first, and then it progressively gets harsher if there's no cooperation there. We've also, as a community here, we've set a precedent where, let's say, for example, Pebbles to Rocks, there was assistance from the city with whether it be land or fees or what have you to get them running. In my view, doing something like that for day homes to help them get started, at least in the first year, would be consistent with that approach. And I think it would be defensible versus maybe other operators that might be saying, why are you giving these people a break and I'm paying full commercial tax kind of thing. So hopefully that extra background will help at this point.
Good. Excellent. Thanks for that. Any other questions, comments out there? Seeing none, we don't need a motion or anything. This was just information for now.
Yeah.
Hey, excellent. Thank you for joining us tonight. And we will give her first reading later on. Hopefully it happens.
Thank you and Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Can we just have a motion for accepting the information?
Oh, can we just get a motion to accept the Councilor Leeser, Councilor Dubowski, all in favor? Carried. Thank you for that. Where are we here? Fire and Rescue. The City of Estevan Emergency Measures Organization has been working to restructure our organization to better align the goals of the organization with the needs of our residents. There's an opportunity to apply for funding assistance through the Targeted Sector Support Initiative through the Saskatchewan Urban Municipalities Association. The City of Estevan would be eligible for this funding should Council pass a resolution in support of applying for the funding. We are joined by a couple of our finest. The floor is yours.
Thank you. So recently, as you just mentioned, we're doing a bit of a restructure. We now have Rhonda as our new EMO coordinator since the retirement of Helen Fornwald on July 1st. through some of the conferences Rhonda's been to recently, networking with other communities and stuff like that, we've noticed we need an updated emergency management plan for our city. So what usually happens with our EMO committee is we partner with the RM of Estevan and some of the surrounding municipalities. So we're going to be going through here shortly and redoing our mutual aid agreement with these places. So one thing we want to do is take the chance. We have an opportunity through the Targeted Sector Support Initiative through SUMA to get funding in order for us to update our emergency management plan. With what the future holds around here with possibly nuclear and other economic development initiatives on the go, to plan for the future so we're prepared when this stuff possibly comes down. So we can apply and get possibly up to $100,000 of this funding to redo this emergency management plan. With the plan, it's not something we just sit down as an EMO committee and have a couple meetings and come out with a plan. We would be hiring on a consulting firm. They would be coming through and doing a full hazard risk vulnerability analysis, and that would be between us and the RM of Estevan. And then after that, we would get a bunch of our stakeholders together, go through and develop this emergency management plan. We have spoke with the RM of Estevan Council. We had their support. We're going to go and present to them on the 18th at their meeting. So if this all goes through, we could get up to that $100,000. 75% of that would be covered. 25% would be split between us and the RM. So if our council is in support, we can go ahead and put it out to 3 different companies, get pricing back that we can bring forward to both councils, and see if we can take this forward. If we're not successful, we're going to put that into a capital item budget for the following year, and we'll do our work this year and bring everything to the table that we can, and redo our agreements with everybody once we determine if we're going to go ahead with this.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Questions, comments out there? Councilor Leeser?
Thank you for coming in tonight. In your opinion, is there a risk of deferring the capital item to the 2027 budget? Is this something we should be prepared to proceed with regardless of the sector support this year?
With anything in emergencies, there's always risk. We've went several years with the current plan that we have in place. With our EMO committee that we have the proper stakeholders in there right now. This is more, it's planning for long-term and planning for some of our resilience. We do lack in some areas there. There is I won't call it a plan. We have a manual in place right now. We just want to make sure that we're aligning with our mutual aid partners like the RM and everyone else that comes to the table. But right now, for anything emergency that happens, we can effectively respond and mitigate anything that we have.
Okay, excellent. Councilor Mouse? Unmute. There we go.
Sorry about that. Which of the RMs are involved? Is it just Estevan number 5, or is Coalfields and Benson also involved, or would they also be involved?
So for this initiative, we need one partner to team up with, so that would be the RM of Estevan. Our mutual aid agreement, we're having a meeting here.
On Wednesday, the 10th.
Yeah, this week. There's several RMs around here. I believe there's 6 or 8 of them that are all in this mutual aid agreement, and we're going to redo it right now for 1 year and see what happens with this, and then we can redo it after if a plan is built.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions, comments out there? Do we have a motion to accept? Councilor Elliott, Councilor Leeser, seconded. Question, comments are done. All in favor? There you go. Go get that funding.
Thank you.
Up next, water quality report for November 2025. Do we have a motion to accept this? Councilor Dubowski, Councilor Varoba, questions, comments? Seeing none. Oh, Councilor Leeser.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just in the body of the report, there was a discussion about testing on Wellick as well as a possible problem on Perkins. If we could hear from the manager, just how that impacts the community surrounding those sites.
Excellent.
Thank you, Councillor Walliser, through your worship. So I brought it up in just something we're working on with Wellick Reservoir when we're shutting down Smith Reservoir next year in the fall for its upgrading. We will need to transfer a lot more water up through the Wellick line. So I think we figured it out. We just have to do some more tests and check, but I think it's just some air pockets that are stuck in the line restricting flow. And then as for Perkins, we found in the transmission line that there's, because it's the old cast iron piping, that it's got a lot of tuberculation on the inside, which has reduced the flow, so water doesn't want to flow down it nicely, and it's pulling out of other lines, which causes stale areas in the water. So we're just trying to flush it for now, and then next year we'll work it into a swabbing process and get the line cleaned out.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Up next, wastewater manager 2026 chemical tender and report. So aluminum sulfate, looks like Border Chemicals 112K, liquid chlorine, ClearTech 44K, KMN04, what is that? I don't even want to know. 11,000, 12K ammonium sulfate, almost 20K. I can't even say the next one. Acid fluoride, 4,345. So obviously you've given us our recommendations. Do we have a motion to accept? Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Elliott. Any questions, comments out there for Councillor Walliser?
Thank you, Your Worship. Often we talk about how since switching the water source, there's been a change in the chemicals that are required. Has that had any impact on this year's use, or do you anticipate a change for next year?
Thank you, Councillor Walliser, through your worship. So yeah, we budget for if we had to switch sources back, if there was ever a contamination of Rafferty, we make sure that we have it budgeted that we could switch back and increase our chemicals back to the way they were. So we do normally on Rafferty, we'll do about 2/3 to half of the same amount of chemical that we did when we were on boundary. So this would be for if we were on boundary. So we always use less than this, but we always count for if we had to switch. So.
Thank you.
Hey, Councillor Mouse and then Councillor Verba.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor. I was just wondering, is there major differences in pricing? Are they because the products are better or worse, or are they all the same? It's just a difference in companies. And also, would it make more sense to use ClearTech for 4 chemicals and board for that one that ClearTech can give us that, because we just have 2 suppliers instead of 3? Does that make more sense? Easier to work with? Sort of 2 questions in one.
Thank you, Councillor Mouse, through your worship. Which chemicals are you referring to? Oh, so ammonium sulfate, we are choosing Brentag over ClearTech for the price, but yes, if we can justify using each one of them depending on their availability, the price, but they're all pretty much the same. In our tender report, we always make sure that we are specific on which chemical we're asking for, and that has a certain specific gravity or quality assurance in it. And if those are ever broken, then we switch to the next highest bid or the next lowest bid.
And does it make more sense to just use 2 companies instead of 3, or is it's just, if you have to switch, you have to switch kind of thing, right? If I understand that correctly.
Yeah, they all provide the same kind of chemical, so it doesn't cost any more. Everything is included within shipping taxes, and everything is included in that price. So it doesn't cost us any more to use multiple different companies. It actually saves us money in the long run.
Okay, excellent. City Manager, you wanted to add?
Thank you, Your Worship, Councillor Mouse. Also, when you're putting out a tender for specific products, we do have a purchasing policy that if they were higher, it'd be very difficult for us to go above that without some additional rationale. So when we put out tender packages like this, if they are lower, and they're similar products, we do have to go with the lowest bid at this point.
Councillor Broba.
Thank you, Worship. I just wanted to mention that again, there's a couple of them in here that are increased, but a couple of them are also decreased. So that's nice to see because for a long time, I know I've seen it even with my business where basically some of the chemicals are starting to come down. So it is good to see that we're not just continued or they didn't just hold the price just because they could get that price, that there still is some competition. So it is nice to see the price coming down.
Excellent. Any other questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you for that. Where are we? Tax assessor, permission to proceed to title. Every attempt, they have a list of arrears out there. Every attempt has been made to collect on these accounts. My recommendation would be for council to make a resolution granting permission to proceed with tax enforcement to take the title, unfortunately. Councilor Verba.
Yeah, make a motion.
That's motion, seconded by Councilor Johnson. Any other questions, comments out there? Councilor Verba.
Just to clarify, we are going to title, so if somebody was to say, realize, oh no, I pushed the envelope too far, my property's now gone to take title, they could come in tomorrow and still pay this amount, and then they would retain their title of their property. And then the other thing is, if some of these properties are actually abandoned or, gone into a disrepair, and they should not be sold or, they're not safe to live in, when we sell a property like that, is there something that's also said in there that the property must be basically taken down, or do we allow people to buy properties that are like that disrepair and then repair them to a Municode standard?
City Manager.
Thank you, Your Worship, to Councillor Verba. So we actually did go through this in our tendering practice for some properties here in the last year. Obviously, if there's deemed to be a health risk from fire or the building official, we can put conditions that title does not transfer or something has to be done within a period, whether 12 or 18 months, to make sure that it's safe for occupancy. So we do have those items in place when we go into tender packages.
So I guess my second part to that question would be, let's just say, for example, I was to purchase a property that should be torn down, but I say, you know what, I think I can get this up to standards. You guys give me, we, the city, give 12 months for that to happen. Is there something in there then that they have to be responsible for the cost? Or is that something, if they don't tear it down, it's probably going to be where the city takes it back again and then it's back to square one?
Thank you, Councilor Verba. So that's all within the purchase agreement. So if a tender is awarded, we put those within the purchase agreement. They have to meet criteria, or they would lose their deposit on the purchase, and the title would come back to the City of Estevan, and we would have to deal with it at that point. So there's a lot of stuff that could happen in that purchase agreement. So it is on a case-by-case basis, depending on how the property is brought to us.
Okay, yeah, my questions just stem because I've had a lot of different people have come to me from some of the properties that we have sold in the last year, and they're asking why the city didn't just tear it down to like land and then sell it as the land. So I guess that is something we need to maybe just take a look at when we're gonna sell a property. If it is something that we think needs to be taken down, my response also is the fact that the city has to incur that cost. So if somebody's willing to bring it up to the standard, then I guess it's to the benefit that we allow them to do that as well. So there is a lot of factors that have to go into that.
Thank you, Councilor Verba. We can get a subsequent report on that, but I think there's requirements that you have to put the item out to tender, and then if we don't receive any sufficient bids, we have some different items at that point. But there is outstanding taxes for school and city that we need to work through, that we can't just take it and tear it down and put it into city inventory without first clearing off school taxes that may be owed or any other clearances. So I can get a full report from Trina on that process for you.
Yeah, because I'd also be curious, City Manager, if a property is deemed to be uninhabitable and an actual safety risk, if the person doesn't decide they want to tear it down because they can't afford it or whatever the reason may be, maybe they sentimental reasons, if the city moves in and tears it down, then that cost to tear it down goes on to their taxes.
Thank you, Councilor Berba. So it would go on to whoever owned the property at
Right.
that time. So if they did purchase it, it would be under their name and that demolition cost would go on to the property. And then we'd have to sell that location and try to recoup the cost at that
Right.
point. But I can get a full report to you from the
Excellent.
taxes.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for that. We were seconded. Any other questions, comments out there? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Introduction of bylaws. Bylaw 2025-2103, the business bylaw, which we kind of just heard about. Do we have a motion to accept this, to send it to first reading? Councilor Leeser, seconded by Councilor Veroba. What's that? Yes, we're just sending it out to the public for the first reading, for sure. Okay, so all in favor? Carried. And then bylaw 2025-2104, the fees for the business bylaws. Do we have a motion to accept this? Councilor Johnson, seconded by Councilor Mouse. All in favor? Carried. We'll get those out for first reading and expect those in the next meeting. Giving notice, the CP holiday train is coming back Friday, December 19th, 3:15 in the afternoon. People have always said, how come the train doesn't come when it's dark? Well, December 19th will probably be dark at 3 o'clock, so get on out and have a good time. It's always a great time. Inquiries. Councilor Verova.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to say Miracle on 4th Street this Saturday, December 13th. Also, local author Kathleen Ricard will be at Art Concept from 10 to 2 with her book, The Deafening Sound of Sorrow. And it's basically her experience as a 14-year-old girl after her friend was brutally murdered, and it just talks about from her perspective as to what a 14-year-old girl had to go through after. So that is downtown on Miracle on 4th Street on Saturday from 10 to 2. And also it is going to be Woodlawn's opening night on Saturday as well. So, or Sunday night is going to be the opening for their Festival of Trees. Twinkle Tour?
Twinkle Tour.
Twinkle Tour, okay.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, the library this coming Thursday night, they're having a special Christmas party, so to speak. They've got a magician coming in and a musical act, as well as some other activities throughout the evening. So if you're looking for something to do, one more thing to do in Estevan.
It's always something to do.
Yep.
Thank you for that. City Treasurer.
Nothing, Your Worship.
Nothing tonight. Councilor Dubowski. Oh, I forgot. Councilor Mouse. Sorry, I forgot the open chair there.
No, I'm good. I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Johnson.
No inquiries this evening, thank you.
Okay, Councilor Leeser.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a reminder to the community that 4th Street is open, and not only was there Moonlight Madness last week and the Miracle on 4th this week, but just driving downtown, taking a look to see all the changes that have happened in the last 2 years. There's a lot of new storefronts. Things are looking really good. There's a lot of reasons that even if you haven't found yourself downtown before, you might just find a new store to poke into now. So I really encourage the community to come out. And also to the mayor, I've had lots of positive feedback about the 20 kilometers in the 2 business shopping blocks. People find it makes a big difference trying to back out of the parallel stalls. So thank you for pursuing that.
Excellent. Yeah, the whole point, obviously nobody's going to go 20 kilometers an hour, but the police chief says if you do 31, they're coming to get you. So just on that. But yeah, slow down, be courteous. If someone's backing out, please use caution. City Manager.
Nothing to add, Your Worship.
City Clerk.
Nothing, Your Worship.
I had last couple of weeks, we were at City SUMA meetings, City Mayor's meeting, and then Friday we were, went to support our MLA as they introduced the Compassionate Care Act. So I am governmented out for the year. That'll be enough of that. So we'll bring us into the new year, and we have a motion to go into closed. Councilor Elliott, Councilor Dubowski, all in favor? We are in committee. Thank you.
If you'd like to share your feedback on the program you just watched, contact us today